Solo Leveling Season 1's finale is in the books. Now that begs the question, who will rise for Season 2? Alright guys, Brett, back for Geek Variants. We cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. This time, Solo Leveling Season 1, Episode 12, Arise. And I gotta say, one of the most solid seasons for an opener I've seen in a long time. Will, your thoughts?
Yo, this whole anime was truth. I enjoyed it, especially coming from a gaming perspective. Like they really hit the nail on the head as far as kind of you got that isekai feel as well as what we deal with as gamers, trying to make those decisions and what we got to do, how we use our resources. So yeah, this anime was fantastic. I'm excited for season two, and this episode here kind of really set the stage for how things are going to go down in season two.
And I gotta say, like, resources, we're supposed to use those, not hoard them like they're treasure and never ever use them for any particular quest at any moment in time. Because, like, I'm every time I see Jin-Woo use his resources and finally allocates all his stuff, I'm like, you could have saved up for something else. But at the same time, seeing how all of his actions have been watched to a umpteenth T, and the main thing that we found out about him, he's done this alone. He's relied solely on strength. He did this without anybody or anything at his side. And now, if you're familiar with any type of video game class, being put into a necromancer class is not for those who are morally on a good path. No one ever's like, hey, let me resurrect your friend so I can, like, you guys can hang out more. It's always for all of the wrong reasons. So, what are your thoughts on Sung Jin Woo now being a necromancer?
Uh, I think it's perfect for him and his art and stuff like that. Um, I think that it's possible that he can have another job, class change in the future. But as far as right now, is he's going down that dark path. But I think that there's going to be a point where he can split with that. So it's like he could go from Shadow Monarch to Golden King or something. I don't know, making up stuff. Like he can change paths at some point in time in the future, I believe, because again, this story is about his growth and his evolution. So I think you sometimes you have to walk that dark path to get to the light. Um, with him being a necromancer, it's definitely going to be using everything to his advantage, and people are not going to be happy about it. He doesn't really have anybody rolling with him like that to be happy about it, but this also eliminates the need for the extra bodies and stuff that they've been bringing on their quest. I mean, they still have to be there as far as paperwork is concerned, but now this should make dungeons a little bit more manageable as far as he can send out the troops to handle business, and he doesn't have to do much himself. He can deal with either the main big bad or whatever, while his minions take on the rest. But again, with minions, it also depends on who he's going to be pulling for minions. Because you see, he sat there and he pulled, the knight like, "Hey, I'm taking this," but who else is he going to take? Is he going to defeat some high level like Tashik? If he would have defeated Tashik and said that, could he have extracted him? Could he have pulled him to his side and used him for something? I don't know. Like this, these are questions I have now, so I'm going to be stuck for a minute.
It's definitely a very, very dark gray moral area at best. Because the minute you start resurrecting people you've killed, I don't think you're going to always be a morally light character. No matter how things play out, things are going to be a little complicated. But having him resurrect Egress is definitely the nice thing to do, is the right thing to do. But the fact that he's now calling himself a king to fill that throne spot is also questionable, because the Sung he was talking to in his little moment there where he was about to die again because he's still not that strong. It makes you wonder how an S rank would have handled that type of moment. Um, he still was talking to himself, but himself had that smile of that evil, evil statue, the one that started it all. And it makes you wonder, is he really in control here, or is he just another puppet to make this scheme come about, whatever it is? Because, like, it saw at the end of the episode, Guildmaster Choi finally makes it to Jeju Island. And the monsters are not only there, but they're evolving and they're adapting and they're getting stronger. So the monsters that were killing off S ranks back in the very beginning are getting even stronger. At the same time, our boy is now getting stronger. There's so much to break down with that. How do you feel about either Jeju Island or Sung's flashback?
As far as Song, like he definitely, I think he's given a reign of control like within parameters. So he's is that's why I've given him the options. It felt like he's giving him choices to do what he wants to do. But you see how, hey, this is a hidden class. Are you sure you want to refuse it? So he's being prodded to go in a certain direction. And I think that when we see the younger version of him, I'm going to call it the E-rank version of him talking, and I think that's the more or less the spirit manipulation type things where they're using against him, because again he was already seeing voices and all that stuff, seeing people hear voices, all that stuff during the fight. So whatever it is inside his head. I don't think it's necessarily, it's kind of making him make those choices in the direction that they want him to go, to make him like they got some bigger agenda they want him to take out. I think it's another hunter specifically that needs to be taken out, that I guess poses a threat or something to that effect. As far as Jeju Island, things are going to get real, because with these other hunters going there and to acquire a beast to, I guess, study it and see what's going on while they're getting stronger, which means it's going to make for a very difficult battle. And I think it's going to eventually end up being kind of like a three-way match, so like that, between Jin-Woo's freaking team, one of the other guilds at least, and stuff like that, and then whatever monsters are going on the island. So it's going to be, you know, it's probably gonna get to the point where it's a Royal Rumble. It's going to be wild.
Yeah, and then on top of that, we still have the fact that season 2 is being teased right now for fall of this year, which I think is an insane timeline for any anime to keep. For 9 months from now, hey, there's going to be a brand new content. I definitely appreciate it, and if the quality's there, I'm all for it. But again, with everything we've seen from studios like Mappa, there's things called burnout and taking your employees to the limits. I'm not for that. I'm all for great content, just not at the risk of people. And
But
go ahead.
it also gets the fans, because I mean, Invincible just covered this about, hey, we're trying to make sure that we can do right by the fans, so like that. But again, we're feeling rushed and we're trying to get the stuff out, but it's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. There's a lot of stuff that has to be processed. So corners are going to get cut in certain areas, because either people are clamoring for it and then they're trying to rush it to get it out, because again they want to make money or get viewership, get numbers, whatever the case would be, and then there's no quality behind it. And that's one of the reasons why, even when doing the videos we do, we try to make sure that, okay, we got everything we want to talk about, let's run it. They're doing everything the same way, like they got everything they want to do and they're trying to run it. But again, if this is going to be released this fast, again, it just ended, this is like what, a couple months later that they're releasing the next season. Now you're setting a standard for people that, like, okay, I want it. Like you finish this season and then you drop the next one, like I want it again and again. And sometimes as fans, we don't know when to take a step back and be like, okay, make the product, make it great, I'll wait for it, and then it causes a bunch of issues. So
Yeah, because it's like there's very few shows where it's had a year after year turnout, or even movies with year after year turnout where things turned out good. The Lord of the Rings is probably the only time where I think it was done perfectly, because every single December you had a movie dropping that was winning awards, was fan clamored for, and was done correctly. As opposed to, hey, we'll spit out new Marvel products every single year, even though different entities at different parts of our studio are working on it, and you get two bad ones for every good one. So that being said, there's a lot to break down with the show, a lot of stuff to really delve into. Really excited for a next season, but I'm on the fence as far as rushing content because Invincible had the perfect trolling on that. It was letting us know, kind of breaking the fourth wall of, hey, patience is a virtue, but also we still hear you. We're just doing the best job we can, and that's been one of the best animated shows that's come out in a minute. So we've had a lot of great things come out with content lately, and we have even more great content coming up for you, the viewer. That being said, is there any further thoughts from solo leveling you want to discuss in this episode?
Nah, I think that's it as far as solo leveling. Appreciate you taking shots at my Marvel, but it's cool though. It's cool though. We still running it. Spider Verse coming soon. It's supposed to drop, but it will be here eventually. I'm waiting for it.
I will say, probably one of the most anticipated movies, period, in a long, long time of that animated Spider Verse. Be sure to hit that lovely red subscribe button because we got all things covered, all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. And we are very excited for what this season was. Probably one of the best openings for a show in a long, long time. And don't worry, we got more anime within 2 weeks. Kaiju number 8, I'll have covered for you. See you guys on the next one.